Yeah. Okay, here we go. Welcome. Welcome to Chair Yoga for Fall Prevention. It's a 60-minute class, 3 minutes on one side, one way or the other. Depends how chatty I get. And do what you can with what you got today. If it doesn't feel right in your body, guess what? You don't have to do it. Again, listen to your body. It gives you clues as to, ooh, is this too spicy or not? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is stand up, move this chair out of the way. Just know I'm going to come back up to the camera during our guided rest and relaxation part of our class, plus that gratitude practice. And if we have a little bit of time left over, I'll do some energy work also, but that's, depending on what's going on here, yeah? All right, so I'm going to stand up and move my chair out of the way. Make sure it's not in the camera. I got my 2 chairs already set up. You don't have to have 2 chairs. But what we do in this class is it follows like a traditional aerobics workout. Remember back in the day we had a warm-up, workout, and a cool-down. This class is similar to that. Now, if you're going to sit in a chair, my advice to you is you shift forward a little bit, okay? So you're going to be engaging those tall posture muscles. And of course, I got my chair super wide. I already got my block and my strap ready. So have those handy also. You really only need to have 1 chair for this class, but I like 2 chairs because at the end we have some homework assignments and I want you to remember what to do during the week. So I invite you to press your feet firm into the floor so this kind of gets us out of our brain and into our bodies. Soft bend in the knees. You're pressing your feet into the floor when you're seated. Also, it's just not like feet laying on the floor. It's active, okay? And let's take those shoulders and shrug them up and down. That's part of our lymphatic drainage that we do in class. And make a little bit of mobilization of those joints and then make it slower, slower, and slower. Find that belly button and then shift your hand a little bit lower than that and then hand above that as we do our lower belly breathing. So this helps promote CSF flow, cerebral spinal fluid flow, which helps drain the brain of its waste. So it's a very beneficial thing. Also helps to lower blood pressure, lower your heart rate. So we're going to breathe softly in through the nose. Let the belly and the chest expand. And as we exhale, draw that belly button towards your spine. Now relax those shoulders now. Again, breathe in, belly big. Exhale, belly button towards the spine. Press those feet firm into the floor. Again, breathe in, belly big, a little bend in the knees if you're standing. And exhaling. Actually, you can hang onto a chair if you need to. Just know that, okay? Again, one more time. Breathe in, belly big. And exhaling. Beautiful. I'm going to step my feet a little bit wider, knees bent. We're going to do the shaking gong. So that basically means shaking those arms, bending those knees. Maybe you're lifting the heels like little calf pumps if you're seated. Again, we're trying to warm up those major joints in the body and move those muscles a bit. If you want, you can turn side to side. And then maybe bring it a little bit more towards the sky. Again, you can turn side to side. And you can be hanging onto a chair if you like. You can be standing behind a chair. You can be seated on the chair. And then let's have those elbows down low, the hands up towards the sky as we flap the wrists. Great for that carpal tunnel, okay? And maybe you want to flap them towards the floor. It feels quite different. So when you have the palms up, that stimulates the heart meridian. So that's good stuff. All right, from here, keep bending the knees, swing the arms. Now, if you're seated, again, move the feet however is comfortable. Maybe you're doing heel lifts. Maybe you're doing toe lifts. Maybe they're still. That's okay, too. And let's tap the shoulders. And I kind of change my little pattern of bending my knees when I tap the shoulders. Very good. Notice if one side is talking to you versus the other. Is it a little spicy? All right, from here, let's alternate. I'm going to move a little forward when I do this. Alternate the arms. And I'm doing that soft little bend in the knees, too. Now, if you've got arms on the side of your chair, be mindful of that. You don't want to be whapping your arm on that side of the chair. Y'all that are seated, keep doing that. Those of us standing, instead of forward and back, let's do out and across. So you're getting a little spinal movement here, a little twist. Again, keep it between the easy and out. We're lubricating that spine with this soft movement that we're doing today. Hopefully it's soft. Again, don't forget to breathe. This makes you dizzy looking side to side. Keep the head looking forward, okay? Very nice. Let's calm it down a little bit. All right, you might feel some little sensation going on with the hands there. We're going to do our Big Six detox at this moment. Again, you're away from the back of the chair when we do this. And what we'll do, I'm going to come up a little closer here. We're going to find our collarbone and then spread out the hands. We're going to stroke across the collarbone, above and below the collarbone. Let me move my name tag out of the way there. Or you can tap, tap, tap. So this stimulates the stomach meridian, the kidney meridian, and the lung meridian. The stomach is more close to the center. The kidney is in the center of the collarbone, and the lung is more towards the shoulders. All right, let's do the other side. So spread out the hands, stroke above and below the collarbone. Now you're not digging, okay? It's like skin to skin or t-shirt to skin kind of movement. You might notice excessive sinus drainage after you've done the Big Six. You can look that up, hashtag BIG6. Dr. Perry Nicholson came up with that terminology. Now, so this is the low pressure point on our body. So you have to do this in a certain sequence to get the benefits. Again, we're going to spread out the hands, bring fingers in front and back of the ears, and then stroke down the side of the neck, and then stroke down the jawline. Now be sure to get those hands way back here at the back of the head also, because we've got a lot of lymph nests going on in that occiput. I'm sure I didn't say that correctly. So I just kind of alternate. I do my jawline down the side of the neck. So again, this helps to have less brain fog because you're helping clear the pipes that do the waste flow when we sleep at night. So that's that cerebral spinal fluid flow. All right, from here, we go to the armpits. So we're going to either do like a little right angle with our hand and push in that thumb here in the pectorals, or, you know, you can go in there and kind of dig or rub or tap, whatever you want to do, but make sure that thumb in front is also stimulating. So those of us, men and women that get breast cancer, they check these areas to see did the cancer move to these lymph node nests. So we're clearing out the muck. We're making sure we have a pit, not a puff. If you have a puff, that's an indication of inflammation. Maybe some further inquiry, yeah? All right, let's do the other side. Notice if it's tender, okay? Again, you can just gently push in, or maybe you're going in there digging for gold, whatever you're doing here, right? Make a little noise. Be sweet, be kind. All right, the next, find where the bottom of that little curve of the ribs is. That's where the diaphragm usually sits. And if you have kind of challenged breathing, maybe sometimes that diaphragm is like stuck up in air, okay? So I'm going to take my fingers and just stroke across there at that little curve of the bottom of the ribs. So the stomach, the front torso is considered to be the second brain in our bodies. You've heard of the gut-brain connection. Lots of lymph nests hanging out here in the belly. So maybe you want to play a little percussion here also. So move it on to tapping or chopping or jiggling or maybe circular movements. Try to go from over to the left bottom. So you do it clockwise manner. That helps aid digestion and elimination. And then we step our feet out a little bit wide. This might be easier seated in the chair. Who knows? This is kind of like horse stance in Tai Chi. Take the sides of the hands and we chop where the leg inserts into the torso. It's called the quad or the inguinal crease. So let's chop the quad. So this one's probably a little more vigorous than the previous places that we were tapping. So men that get prostate cancer, women that get uterine or ovary cancers, this is the area they check to see, okay, did the cancer spread to these lymph node nest areas? Let's chop it. Let's get rid of that toxic waste, okay? If you don't move, it doesn't get out of the body easily. Some people bounce on those rebounders, those mini trampolines to do the same type of work. All right, so the next one is back of the knees. And again, I'm going to use that little right angle with my hand to kind of stroke the bottoms of my hamstrings, the back of my knees, and the top of the calves. You tend to have edema, swelling in the feet. Back here, the back of the knees is something you need to do prior to working the feet. Actually, you need to work big six to make it more effective. A couple more. Very good. All right, clap the hands. Rub some heat into those hands. Let's shake the legs at the same time. Very nice. From here, let's kind of march in place. You can hang on to the chairs. You can march in place seated on the chairs. Get into those hips. And then if you're seated, you can maybe bring your hands on your shin or hands back behind your knee pit for our ankle rotation. If you're standing, I'm going to hang on to the chair with one, and I'm going to lift one of my legs. We're going to point and flex. So a little ankle isolation here that helps you have better walking ability. Also, that big toe flexibility is very integral in how well you keep your balance. So just kind of think about that. We'll be doing some yoga postures today. Warrior One, crescent lunge, specifically addressing that big toe flexibility. And then pause. Let's go over and do the other one. So again, point and flex. Woo. Notice if one side is more stiff than the other. If you tend to get leg cramps, doing this movement helps with lessening those leg cramps. You also have to hydrate a little bit more also, okay? So think about, are you drinking enough water during the day? Woo. All right, let's go back to the original side. Let's do some ankle isolation. So again, try to do just the ankle. So you're going to draw it inward. So draw it inward and out. And my foot's going snap, crackle, pop. So these warm-up sequences are designated to promote relaxation, flexibility, and overall well-being. Get the joints and the major muscles warmed up before we contract them, work them out. And then reverse. So the therapeutic value of doing ankle circles, you need to do about 30 each side. We don't do that in class today. That's a little too much, but you work up to it, okay? Two more. 2 and 1. Other side, you probably thought I forgot, didn't you? Okay, draw the circle inward. Ooh, notice what you notice. This one's stiff. This one's still very stiff. After we finish this ankle mobility, we'll be doing a testing of our balance. And then on to the warm-up portion of our class, or the workout portion, I should say. And then reverse. Notice if your circles seem a little different when you go one direction versus the other. Very good. I'm going to get a little sip of water. I invite you to get a little sip of water too. Again, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. So let me get a little sip. I'm getting a little warm here. I'm going to check my air conditioner as y'all continue to get a little sip. It's hot here in Texas. All right. Okay, so the balance assessment is one of our chair Tai Chi. It's one of our standing Tai Chi movements called Golden Rooster. So I'm going to go over to one of my chairs and I'm going to point my toes towards the corners. You can also do this seated in the chair, just to know that, okay? So I'm going to bend both knees, so I'm rooting down, and I'm going to take my tailbone, tuck it under, and then the leg that's to the outside, I'm going to lift that leg up, point the toe down, and do the same side arm, bent elbow up. And then I'm noticing, do I need to grip the chair or can I have just the hand on top? And notice what you notice. Maybe it has to be lower, all right? And so this is the same seated on the chair. Maybe your opposite hand is underneath that leg. And release. We're going to step over to the other chair or to the other side of the chair that you're working with. Point the toes towards the corners, bend the knees, roll that tailbone under. So you're rooting down, bent knee on the balance leg. Lift the elbow up, lift the leg up, point that toe down. Notice what you notice on this side. Is it different than the previous side? And release. Very good. All right, so I'm going to move one of my chairs out of the way. I'm going to grab my gear. You grab your gear. It's the yoga block. It's the yoga strap. And we'll start that strength portion of our class. I love it. While we're here, let's go ahead and do that flex again. So flex, you're on the back of the heel, toes towards you, just to get a little bit more calf contraction going on here. And then I invite you to point the toes away. So feel that stretch on the top of the foot, the shin, the knee. And once again, toes towards you, flex that heel. Woo! See if it feels a little spicy, and release. Let's do the other side. So bring that leg out. So it's toes towards you to begin with. So you feel that calf contraction, maybe a little contraction of the top of the leg. And then point the toe away. Ooh. Again, notice what you notice. And then flex that heel once again towards you. And release. Beautiful. So we're going to take our TheraBand, our strap, our tie. Maybe it's just our hands. And I went ahead and put a buckle in mine. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. Maybe you can. But you can also do a shoelace tie, okay? So you would bring it underneath. And, you know, you do the thing where you do over and you bring it through and you do the little bunny ears or however you tie your shoelace. You can do that. But I'm going to go ahead and use the strap since I got it set up here. I'm going to step into the strap. So why are we doing this part? This part is to strengthening our hip musculature. Often those of us who are working towards fall issues maybe don't have the behind that we used to. We don't have the muscular strength in our behind, our quadriceps, our hamstrings, our calves. We have stiff feet because, you know, our feet are in shoes and they're all kind of like cramped up, right? So we don't have that flexibility we once had. So we're kind of working that today. So I'm away from the back of the chair, and you need to be away from the back of the chair also when we do this. We're going to press our feet firmly into the floor and press to the outsides of our strap. So you're already going to feel some muscular contraction going on here. Maybe a little bit, yeah. And again, if it's spicy, maybe you do a little bit less. You can also enhance your muscular contraction by taking those hands and pressing down to where you're really pressing down on those feet. Now I've got like a smooth chair here, so sometimes my booty scoots back a little bit when I do this. So just know that's kind of a normal thing when you're really engaging these muscles, being kind of strong here. And release that. Now, we're doing a seated clam posture because a lot of folks do not want to get down to the floor or are uneasy about that, okay? It's a yoga Pilates move for, again, strengthening the musculature, all right? We're going to take one of our feet, heel-toe it in, heel-toe in. So you kind of have the bottom of the foot kind of snug in to the other foot. And so it's kind of, the knee is going out at the angle. You may not see that too much here because I've got my strap really cinched up here. If you had a TheraBand, you're probably noticing this, that it's a little bit more loosey-goosey here. So again, I invite you to press into the leg that's like stable, that hasn't done any movement. And then, we hate wrinkles, of course, right? So we're pressing down and away with our feet. Now with the leg that's kind of turned out to the side, you're pressing towards the floor. You've got that TheraBand, you've got a little bit more give, and maybe you're doing pulsing in and out. So that's your variation if you have the stretchy band or the tubing, okay? You have only hands today. You're pressing one hand down on the leg, and maybe you're pressing into the hand that's on the bottom of that knee turned out. So you're giving, a little bit of resistance going on here. So that TheraBand is providing muscular contraction resistance. Woo! Hello, booty. I don't know if y'all feeling this, but I am. It's like, oh yeah. Don't forget to breathe. And release, relax everything. So when you relax everything, it's like, oh, that's the best part of the pose, right? Okay, we're going to switch over to the other side. So heel toe over, and then, again, spread out the room. Again, there's that wrinkle. We hate wrinkles. Press down and away. So you get that entire, both sides, getting that muscular contraction. Maybe you're feeling like, ooh, left side feels different than the right side, or vice versa. Maybe they feel similar. Now, don't forget, press into the feet to feel more. Ooh, just a little bit more. It's like, oh, okay, this might be towards spicy. So if you're in a spicy yoga pose, in other words, you're kind of going, do I need to get out of this pose? My advice to y'all first is go back and listen to the breath. So listen to the breath going in through the nose. Here we go. And out through the nose. Sometimes that allows you to stay in the posture. Sometimes it doesn't work. And that's okay too. And relax everything. Let everything just be jello right here. All right, now we're going to go and do the other side. So you probably forgot. I probably forgot. Heel toed in. Here we go. And then again, this foot turns in more better than the other one. I don't know why that is. Who knows? Maybe it's the flexibility of my top of my foot ankle. That could be it. So I'm going to press down on the stable leg. They're both stable, but the one that's not doing anything like turn to the side. And then I'm trying to press the other one towards the floor and press the feet. And maybe I'm going to add a little extra. I'm going to push to the inner thigh, push it a little bit more. Ooh. So Gail makes these strange noises. I talk in third person too. How about that? So I'm going to breathe. Let me just put that out there. I'm going to breathe because it's feeling a little spicy. Here we go. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now y'all keep breathing. I'm going to keep talking. We stay in the postures about 30 seconds to get that bone building benefit. When you contract muscles, it stimulates bone growth. So we're trying to go from big porosity in our bones to tinier porosity, especially if you have osteopenia, osteoporosis challenges. Again, pressing away, pressing down, squeezing, contracting, all that good stuff, and release. Woo! That's over. Or is it? It is. To come out of your strap. That's homework number 1, okay? Clamshell variations. Look it up or remember this. So I'm going to just place this here to the side. Grab your yoga block. So that I've been told this is some of folks' favorite one. I don't know why. But you're going to take that medium width. Or if you got one of those little squeezy balls, this works too, okay? And then again, we're going to heel toe the feet in to where you feel that constant contraction of the inner thighs. I hope y'all feel that. Okay. And then soft push into the floor because that really kind of activates that contraction energy. Now, the objective is, now I've got my block a little bit, coming up away from the height of my legs because we're going to play the drums. The objective is don't let the block move. Okay, so you got to really squeeze that block. So here we go. Woo. Press into the floor also. Oh my. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Woo. Don't forget to breathe and relax. Maybe take that out. Maybe wiggle those legs. Maybe stomp those feet. Maybe wiggle those legs again because we're going to do it again. Yeah? Well, maybe you didn't know, but we're going to do that again. Here we go. Place it back. Maybe you're going to make it a little taller. Maybe not. Again, heel, toe those feet in. Squeeze. Press into the floor. And, get your behind firm into the chair. And let's play our little yoga block. Here we go. Yeah. Don't let it move. Don't let it move much. Squeeze. Can you make a different noise? Oh, I don't like that one. Couple more. Woo! 2, 1. Yay. Take that yoga block out. Oh my goodness. Might feel some tingling sensation. Again, come up on the balls of the feet and shake those legs. And then stomp the feet. Very good. We're going to do our 6 essential spinal movements and then transition into Warrior 1, a variation of crescent lunge. So again, I'm away from the back of the chair here, okay? And sitting up tall. First is cat. You hang onto your legs or maybe hands on the knees, whatever you can manage here. We're going to curve our spine to the back of the room. Now keep the chin looking forward. Don't drop the chin. Don't raise the chin. That's just too much excessive cervical spine curvation going on. And, I teach the back yoga, so I'm always like, trying to make it more safe for those of us with back challenges. This next part might be spicy. You're slowly coming out of the cat to tall seated mountains. So sometimes it feels a little spicy in those pelvic bones. Be slower. Beautiful. All right, from here, my hands are on the legs. I'm going to bring my elbows out to the side and hinge forward. for your forward fold or your cow pose. Again, I have my eyes look straight at you. I'm not dropping it towards my chest or looking where the wall meets the ceiling. So that's a little variation of our cat-cow. And then slowly come back to a tall seated place. Let's do this with the breath this time. So we're going to inhale, belly big, and it's soft. And exhale, contract the belly button, curve to the back of the room. Little cat back here. Slowly, stay here, breathe in, belly big. And then contract that belly button. Slowly come out of that cat into neutral spine or tall seated mountain posture. Beautiful. Stay here, breathe in. Exhale, hinge forward. Here we go. Lovely. Now let the belly be soft. Breathe in, belly big. Contract that belly button, come back up to tall seated posture. All right, that was extension and flexion of the spine. Nice little kind of flowy cat-cow going on there. Next is going to be unsupported twists. So in back yoga, as I tell y'all, maybe some traditional classes, they say, okay, take a hand across and twist. So that's called a levered twist. You're letting your levers kind of do the work. I invite you to let your thoracic spine from your pubic bone to your collarbone do the work. Keep your chin aligned with your spine when you do this. We're going to do letter W with our arms. So we're going to squeeze the tar out of our shoulders. So we do also upper back muscle contraction in our classes, because where your pain is typically is not where the problem is. So unsupported twists. Okay, we're going to breathe in. Belly is soft, but we have squeezy shoulders. Breathe in. Now contract your belly button towards your spine. Press the feet a little bit into the floor and twist over to one side. Now chin aligned with your chest. Typically, I lose the outside shoulder, so I just re-squeeze. We're going to stay here. Breathe in. Contract the belly. Come back to the center and release it down. Kind of wriggle those shoulders once again to kind of lessen that tension that kind of builds up in that upper back. And let's go back. Go back to that letter W. Squeeze the shoulders. Little firm feet into the floor. Very good. Belly soft first. Breathe in. Contract that belly button. Turn over to the other side. Keep squeezing those shoulders if you can. Did you twist more? Maybe. Stay here. Breathe in. Exhale back to the center. And wriggle those shoulders. Beautiful. Next is side lateral flexion, or as I like to call it, grabbing the can on the top shelf. We're going to inhale, circle, sweep arms up, and then sneak a hand behind you. You can be on your wrist or fist, okay? And that's kind of like you're kind of plunking down into the chair. And the other hand that's in the air, you're going to inhale, wriggle it up, feet firm. Exhale, lean that body over. Now I'm bending that back elbow and I'm really supporting into that back arm for this side lateral movement. From here, bring it back to the center and then exhale, float it down. Now yours may look different from mine. You may be doing a bent elbow. That's okay. I got a pacemaker on one side, so it feels and looks a little different than my other side. Let's do that again, switching sides. So first, breathe in, circle, sweep arms up. And then sneak that hand behind you again, fist or wrist, and then wriggle those fingers. Reach up, breathe in. Exhale, lean that side body over. Woo! Those of us with scoliosis may feel differences one side versus the other. Bring it back on up and bring it down. We're going to coordinate that again with the breath. So here we go. Breathe in, circle, sweep arms up. Exhale, bring a hand down. Inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, lean that side body over. Don't let the knees drop if you can. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, float it down. Beautiful. Other side. Here we go. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Sneak the hand behind you as you exhale. Very good. Inhale, reach a little bit more. Exhale, lean that side body over, leaning into that hand that's in the back behind you. Woo, lovely. Inhale back on up. Exhale on down. Beautiful. A little kind of shoulder shrugs once again, and we're going to transition to the side of our chair. Now you may do this yoga posture where your booty's hanging off and you're facing the front. That's okay. I'm just going to demonstrate it sideways because it's a better visual. You can see what's going on. If you got arms on your chairs, you may have to do this at an angle. Just kind of know that, okay? So I'm turning to the side of my chair, And what I'm trying to do to make sure it's happening, I'm not having the heels be like close to the chair or far, far away. I'm having them in a nice kind of a right angle here, as best I can. If I've got shorter legs, the leg furthest away from me may have to be on a yoga block. Just know that, okay? Depending on your height of your chair and stuff. So I'm going to take my booty off the chair. That's what my kids called it when they were in dance. Our booties, okay, or our biscuits. I don't know why they call them biscuits. Anyway, bring your leg back. Now, I tend to lean forward when I do this, but eventually what you're trying to do is have the hip aligned with the shoulder, shoulder aligned with the ear. That also makes a natural back bend happen. So this is a variation of Warrior One of Crescent Lunge. So you're on that curly toe. So here's that thing I was talking about earlier. Flexibility of that toe. If you have it, is it stiff? All that good stuff. So I'm going to kind of bring it back a little bit more. But that leg can be right straight here in the front too. I'm going to press into the forward foot. Press into the curly toe. I'm going to hang on to my chair with the other hand. I'm going to squeeze both buns. Woo! If you want more, you're going to take your side bun, your leg, and shift it forward just a little bit. It's going to be spicy. Just know that. Now, if you want to add more back bend, more cardio, raise same side arm up as the leg that you stepped back. Firm feet into the floor. That's hard to say. Firm feet into the floor. Woo! And release. Yay. I'm going to take that back leg next to the other leg. I grabbed my yoga pant to do that. And then we'll swivel over to the other side. Let's do the other side. Okay, bun off the chair. This one feels better on this side, by the way. And again, it can be right here in front, but I got super long legs. I got to scoot it back a little bit. Again, look, I'm leaning forward. Then I got to think about, okay, shoulder over the hip. I'm already feeling some spice going on in that hip flexor. I'm going to scoot that other foot forward a little bit. Firm foot into the floor. Firm curly toe in the floor. Hanging onto the chair. Squeeze both buns. And then we're going to take that side hip, shift it forward a little bit. If you want more, if. Well, it's always if. Option, both arms up. I hang onto the chair because I'm wiggly, okay? Press into the forward foot. Press into that back toe. Squeeze buns and shift the hip if you can, if you want to. Woo! You should feel some fire in the lower legs, in the upper legs. What am I talking about? The whole leg. And release. Beautiful. Bring it back to the center. You know what? Let's stomp those feet. And then shake the legs. While we're here, let's do one more thing. Let's do a rotation of the hip. We're going to do stomp and bring it in. Other side. Now, it may be a soft landing. It may be a shake the floor landing. Yeah? So this is your getting in and out of the car movement. You probably notice if you've got spicy stuff going on with your back, you notice it when you get in and out of the car. Maybe one side is more spicy than the other. One more out to the side. One more out to the other side. All right. We'll do one more thing before we do the standing portion of class, or if you want to stay seated, that's cool too. We're going to do the knee strengthener. So scoot your booty back into the chair. So you're firm back into the chair. Strengthen stuff going around with the knees, the ligaments, muscles, joints. All right. So we're going to lift a leg up. And for me, this feels weird on the chair, so I always lift my leg a little bit. So it's toes towards me, showing the bottom of my foot. And then we lower, hover, and then we point the toe. And release. Again, all this is getting strengthened. Other side. So here we go. Lift it up. Again, I got to lift up my quadricep a little bit. Or hamstring, and toes towards you. You might feel that generous contraction energy going on here. And then lower, hover, so you don't touch the floor is what I mean. And then point the toe away. And release. We're going to do the other side again. 2 more times. So flex that heel, do the opposite hand. Flex also. Woo! Using both sides of the brains here. A little dimension prevention. And lower, hover. And then point the toe, point the fingers. I know this is strange, right? But we're kind of doing brain gym or cross crawling and releasing. Other side, flex that heel, flex the palm, oof, and lower, and then point the toe, point the fingers. Very good. One more, just one more. Flex that heel, both hands, and then lower, And then point both fingers, point the toes, and lower. Other side last time today. Flex everything, and lower, and point the toe, point the fingers, and lower. Very good. Again, a little stomping here, a little shaking. All right, for those of you that's going to do the standing portion of class, here it comes. So I'm going to move my equipment chair a little over to the side. Move my equipment out of the way. We won't need that for the rest of the class, I don't think. Yeah, let's plan it that way. And then I'm going to shift the other chair in view. So I'm going to turn this chair to the side. Y'all don't have to do that. But again, this is where we're going to engage a little bit of that toe bed, okay? The ability to heel ball toe, heel ball toe. So I'm standing behind my chair. You stand behind your chair also. Maybe you're doing this without chair support, and that's okay too. We're going to step a foot back and come down laying on the heel. Let me hike up my yoga pant a little bit. The other foot, I'm going to kind of hop it towards the back of the chair and bend the knee. Now, same side arm as the leg that has stepped back goes up. So again, this is a variation of warrior one, variation of crescent lunge also. Now, when you're in this position, sometimes there's wiggly business because you have one leg kind of aligned with the back leg. And, you try to see, can you hang on or not hang on to the chair? What some folks will do is take that forward foot, heel toe out to where you have a little wideness going on between the front foot and the back foot. So just know that's a better base of stance, okay? It's going to be less wiggliness. Take that back foot. Let's bring it to the back of the chair. Let's do the other side. So again, get the other one kind of close to the chair. Step the other foot back a little bit, and you're laying down on the heel. We're going to bend the knee towards the back of the chair, and then you're going to compare. Okay, how does this feel compared to the other side? Now, same side arm goes up. Do you notice any side-to-side wiggliness going on? Do you notice the dance of the foot happening? I do because I've got scoliosis, so I have strong contracted muscles one side versus the other. So I do notice there's a shift going on here. Hand comes down, take that back foot, step it forward. All right, so we're going to step it back a little bit more on this next one. So, go to your original position and then go some more and go a little bit more. So again, we're laying down on that back heel. We're going to bend the forward knee, and we always try not to lean forward, folks. Again, it's the philosophy of ears over the shoulders, shoulders over the hips. This is where you might feel it a little bit more. Whatever leg you step back, same side arm up, fingertips, hand, grippy hand, whatever you need to do to keep your balance. But notice what's going on with your balance in these particular variations of this posture. This is also working towards soothing that sciatica nerve, okay? So there's some other alternative reasons for doing this. Bring the hand down, lift that heel, kind of hop walk that foot to the back of the chair, switch sides. So here we go. Step the other foot back, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit more. Lay down on that back heel, and we're going to bend the forward knee towards the back of the chair. Okay, whatever leg you stepped back, same side arm goes up. Maybe the other one does too, maybe not. Again, you're noticing one side versus the other. Stuff going on with your toes, your hips, the curve of your back, the ability to raise the arm up straight or with a bent elbow. Okay, no judgments, but you're noticing what's going on, right? All right, hand comes down, take that back foot, step it forward. All right, the next one is where we kind of move that sciatic nerve a little bit. We floss it a little bit. So we're going to go back to the original stepping back direction. In other words, step back to that original stuff when your heel is down and that foot's towards the back of the chair. We're going to take that back heel, though, lift that heel, and then take your booty, tuck it under. Woo! Now, same side arm goes up. The other knee's not bent so much because you've got the back knee bending. There's a little bend in it, okay? And then notice if you need to grip a little bit more. Notice if there's some shaking, trembling going on. And release it down. Yay. Take that back foot to the back of the chair. We're going to do the other one. It's also a knee strengthener if you didn't notice that. Step it back to that original direction, or distance, I should say. Lift the back heel. Okay. Now take that behind roll it under, okay? Same side arm as the legs that step back goes up into the sky. You either place the hand to the center, a little bit to the side, or both arms up, or not. I just kind of fell into the wall because of that. That's standard what happens with my body, okay? So notice what you notice. Does this one feel more spicy on this side or not? And release the hand down, release that leg down. And then from here, just kind of shake those legs. Walk in place. Very good. Now we're going to take our chair, and I'm going to take my chair, face it towards you. Move this other one out of the way so it's not in the vision. In the vision. We're going to do a little leg swinging here. We're going to kind of focus on the psoas muscle, P-S-O-A-S. So to start out with, I'm making sure I'm not going to hit my foot on the chair. So we're going to be bringing the leg out and back to the ankle, out and back into the ankle. So you may notice, do you have good balance with the hands to the center, or do they need to be spread out a little bit? Just notice what you know. Mine needs to be spread out a little bit. So here we go. Out and center. Do what you can with what you got. Our leg swinging. These simple leg sweeps to the side. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. From here, just walk in place a little bit. Fingers can be on the chair. We'll do the other side. So firm feet into the floor. Ooh, F, F, F. Leg out to the side and back in. So here we go. Hang on. You may have to have a different grip on your chair, one side versus the other. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. And release. Again, walk in place. Okay, so this next one is where we have the heel inward and the toes pointing out. So we're going to bring it out and across, keeping that foot in the same pattern. Now you may need to walk a little bit back behind you a bit. So I have to do fingertips because and then be really stable here. So the heel is towards you and the foot out. So out and across. So the foot is in the same pattern, heel in, toes out. So we're addressing all the different heads in our hamstrings, in our quadriceps. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, woo, and 1. Back to the center, walk a little bit. Let's do the other side. Again, the toe is going to be pointing out. The heel is in towards the center as we do this movement. So here we go. And across. You may swing different one side versus the other. In other words, it feels different, right? Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, woo, and 1. Whoa, my chair went wiggly there. Walk in place. So this next one is considered to be like oiling that hip joint. So it's going to be toe out, and once you cross, it's toe across. So toe out, toe in. I guess you call it toe out, toe in. So again, be mindful you're not going to hit the back of the chair here. So toe out, and you cross, toe in. This is also a little bit of sciatica soothing. Let's do 3 more. 3, woo, 2, last one, 1. All right, walk in place to kind of release that held tension. Other side, toe out, cross it, toe in, toe out, toe in. So here we go. Toe out, toe in. Woo. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. Again, marching in place there. It really kind of targets that psoas muscle, helps with lessening that bursitis feelings that we can get. And next, it's 2 chair time, or 1 chair and a wall time. But actually, let's do the 3-point step. It's a little balance move we do in chair Tai Chi, standing Tai Chi. Once again, pick one side of your chair, and you're going to turn your toes towards the corners. You're going to bend the knees, so you're rooting down, Keep the knee that's closest to the chair bent and rooted into the floor. This is called the 3-point empty step. So you're going to take the outside leg, rest on the back of the heel, toe up. So there's like hardly any weight bearing going on with the forward leg. And you bring it back to the ankle. And you go straight out to the side, heel down, toe up, out to the ankle. Now point the toe behind you and back to the ankle. And then march a little bit. Now we're going to do this next set 2 times in a row. So we're not going to come out of the posture. So bend both knees. And this time tuck the tailbone under. See if that makes any difference as in your rooting action. Yeah. Hang onto the chair or hands on hips as you do this. Heel down, toe up, back to the chair. Straight out to the side, back to the chair. Point that toe behind you, back to the chair. Keep that bent knee bent. Again, heel down, toe up, back to the chair, out to the side, back to the chair, back behind you, back to the chair. Come out of the pose. The leg closest to the chair, let's swing the tension out of that leg. If you did leg day yesterday, you're probably feeling it again here with that 3-point step. Whew, I think this is Louise's favorite one in today's class. Now you can either walk over to the other side or go over to the other chair because we're going to do the other side. 3-point stepping drill. Bend both knees. Roll that tailbone under. We're going to do it once, take a break, and do it twice in a row. So heel down, toe up, straight forward, and back to the ankle. Straight out to the side, back to the ankle. Back behind you, back to the ankle. And release, march a little bit. So this kind of works all the different angles that we need to be doing for better balance, for improving our walking ability. Again, bend the knees, roll that tailbone under, 2 times in a row this time, if you can. Heel down, toe up. Now you can, lift it up to where you're not weight bearing, yeah? Kind of notice that. Back to the ankle, out to the side, back to the ankle, back behind you, back to the ankle. Keep that bent knee close to that chair. Once more. Heel down, toe up, back to the ankle, out to the side, back to the ankle, back behind you, back to the ankle. Release, swing that inside leg. Now looking at our time here, we started at about 3-4 minutes past the hour. We'll still, 60-minute class, maybe 1 or 2 minutes over. I want to give you all the good stuff. Now, from here, back-to-back chairs or back to the chair to the wall or go down your kitchen corridor. So it's forwards and backwards walking. So you use different muscles in your body for forwards and backwards walking. You use different place in your brain for walking backwards. So heel, ball, toe, heel, ball, toe, heel, ball, toe. And then you kind of look at your feet. Are they going out to the side? Are they straight? What's their configuration? I'm going to find my chair there. And then the forward leg, toe, ball, heel, toe, ball, heel, toe, ball, heel, toe, ball, heel. And then whatever leg is forward, switch it. And then you're going to take that back foot, bring it forward. Heel, ball, toe, heel, ball, toe, heel, ball, toe. So the objective is to have your eyes gazing forward, not looking down at your feet unless I ask you to look, okay? Then you take that forward foot, swing it back. Toe, ball, heel, toe, ball, heel, toe, ball, heel. This is actually homework number 3. Homework number 2 is that 3-point stepping drill. This is homework number 3. Things you should do between now and our next class. Switch the feet. Once again, take that back foot, bring it forward. Heel, ball, toe, heel, ball, toe, heel, ball, toe. If you got a kitchen corridor or someplace in your house that you can hang onto the wall doing this, that's good. Go backwards. Heel, ball, toe, or toe, ball, heel, toe, ball, heel. All right. From there, I have carpet going on here. This is homework number 4, sit to stand. So the statistic is you need to be able to do about 10 to 12 of these if you're age 60 and older in 30 seconds time. The question is, how are you doing this? What's the level of ability? So I invite you to sit down in your chair. When you did that, did you put your hand on your chair? Did you grab your chair? Just notice what you notice and place in your bottom on the chair. Now, I was in a breast cancer study, and I actually used this particular test to predict if you're going to fall or not. So if you were only doing 4 of these in 30 seconds time, there was a 70% chance that you were going to fall, okay? If you had higher numbers, higher repetitions, then that was less likely to fall because you had the booty strength, the hamstring, the quadricep, the calves, the balance. So typically what you do is hands on the shoulders, bring the feet a little bit more towards the front of the chair, and stand up. Notice if you had to grunt, if there was stuff going on, if you're like struggling, and then lower. Now, are you plopping or is it a smooth descent? If you have some challenges with this, it's okay. Your thing to build your ability to do this is fingertips on the chair and practicing. And notice if your feet are turned out to the side when you do this. So that's, stress for the knees. And notice if you're having to hike, you're using your arms to bring yourself up. That's cheating, by the way. That's okay. I'm just calling it out. And are your hands on your legs? And you're pushing into your hands when you come up. Again, can you do this without the hands? It's okay if you can't. Just know, there's a place to start here. Y'all continue to do a couple of those. The heart rate is going to go up, up, up when you do that. Again, sit to stand. Now what you do typically, though, if you're not on carpet, you take a chair up against the wall and the other chair in front of you to do this practice. That's what they had us do in the breast cancer study there at MD Anderson. And again, am I going to hang on to the chair when I come down? No, because I know y'all are watching. Right. Okay. Let's do 2 more wherever you are. Heart rate probably is kicking up. And if you finish those last 2, let's scoot back into our chair. And this is our portion where we do the guided rest and relaxation practice. But right now what I invite you to do is let's tap those pinkies. That's for lessening headaches, vertigo. This is part of what we do in our chair Tai Chi class, which is next Wednesday, by the way. And we'll just do a little sampler here. And then let's tap the inner webbings of the thumbs to aid with digestive disorders, with nausea. And then let's flip it. You gotta do both sides, right? Both sides of the brain. And then we do the interwebs of the valleys of the fingers, right? So you're kind of interlacing the fingers, tap, tap, tap. That's for pain or numbness in the limbs. Now you, strangely enough, have a typical or normal way of interlacing your fingers. This is right now probably your normal way to do that. Then let's pause, wiggle that top finger, and then switch the other finger to be on top. That's going to feel weird. Tap, 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 because that's not your normal way to interlace your fingers. Yeah? Again, create new neural pathways by doing things left and right. And then let's do the pulse points. That's your heart cardiovascular issue. So you can tap here like to the center or kind of go, I like to do the up and downs instead. Tap, tap, tap. And then flip it. Now, kind of like we did at the beginning class, we were swinging our arms, we had a little cupped hand. We're going to cup our hand again and then tap on the back of the hand. Now, if you've got rings, you're kind of curving it a little bit. So tap the back of the hands for easing osteoarthritis, back pain. Now, some people put their hand on their leg and do that, but I feel when I do that, I'm a little too forceful. So again, it's just light tapping, not whapping. Makes a sweet little sound there. Makes your veins pop too. Not pop as in pop, but become more prominent. Other side. Here we go. Again, if you've got a ring, curve it a little bit to where you're not hitting the top of the hand with that ring. When we shift this to the back of the wrist, this is for lessening neck and shoulder pain. So let's shift it to the back of the wrist. Again, curve it if you need to, okay? Keep that little cupping action going on. Let's do the other side. Here we go. Got to watch there so it's not right on the back of the wrist, but it's close enough. And then my favorite one's coming up next. It's for lessening stress, anxiety, increasing consciousness, clarity. Make a fist and punch into the palm. So what I like about this, I do notice that my left palm or my left fist is less strong than my right one. Let's do the other one. Notice what you notice. Ooh, yeah, it's less strong. Still makes a good sound though. 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Clap those hands. Some heat into the palms. We're going to do just a little more detoxing here, okay? So I invite you to pat your armpit and then bring it down the side body to the hip, to the belly, up the front. Get to the shoulder a little bit and do palm up. Bring it down the inside of the arm. Palm down and go to the outside of the arm. And then stay here at the shoulder a little bit. Ooh, that feels nice. And then let's swipe off all that kind of excessive tingling energy. Other side, clap the hands again. Little heat here, little circulation. And let's bring the hand to the armpit. So here we go. Notice if it feels tender, yeah? Bring it down the side body to the hip, to the front, bring it up the center. Go to the shoulder a little bit and then do palm up, bring it down the inside of that arm. Turn the palm down to the outside of the arm. Get into that shoulder. You can do a fist if you like, or open palm. All right, and then swipe that excess energy away. Very nice. Settle back into your chair or yoga mat or your comfy couch here. We're going to do what's called a non-sleep guided rest. So basically, I'll say places in the body, and I want you to bring your attention, your awareness to those places, and kind of repeat that place in your body, in your brain. So if I say, notice your big toes on both sides of your body. So you'll bring your attention to your big toes in your imagination. You'll say big toes. And then we'll move on to the next places in the body. So this helps to lessen that monkey mind, lessen stress, kind of gives you a reboot, reset. So eyes can be open or gaze softly down at the floor or closed. You get to choose, okay? So first, let's notice both the big toes in our bodies, both on the right and the left side. Now shift that to the pinky toes. Notice those pinky toes on the left and the right leg. Now shift your awareness up there in the front lower legs, the shin, the calf. Notice both the left and the right side at the same time. Good. Shift your attention to the knee joints. Notice both the front of the knees and that little bend in the back of the knees, both at the same time. Now shifting your awareness to the top of the upper legs. Notice the quadriceps, the front of the legs, the hamstrings, the back of the legs, both sides, both at the same time. Good. Move your attention to your hip joints. Just notice your hip joints. Notice if one side feels different than the other. Now, notice your pelvic floor, your low behind. So notice both the front and back places of your body in that location at the same time. Then let's shift our attention to our navel center and the mid-back. Notice both the front places and the back places of the body at the same time. From here, shift your attention to your heart, to the bottoms of the shoulder blades and the back side of the body. Notice both the front and the back places at the same time. Good. Let's notice the front areas of our shoulders, both in the back and the front sides of our body. Notice the biceps and the triceps, both on the left and the right side of your upper arms. Again, notice those elbow joints, both kind of in that elbow pit and the outside of the elbows. And then shift your attention to your forearms. Notice the front and the back places of both your forearms. Good. Notice the palms and the back of the hands at the same time, both the left and the right sides. Shift your attention to your thumbs, your index fingers, your middle fingers, your ring fingers, the pinky fingers. And then from the pinky fingers, go all the way to the front of your neck, your throat, center, and the back of the neck. Notice your chin, your jawline, the lower lip, the upper lip, the tips of the nostrils, the forehead. Notice the crown of the head, the very top of the head. As you breathe in, imagine there's healing sunlight just pouring into the crown of the head, and it's going all the way down to the tips of the toes, saturating every cell in your body, bringing in that healing light. As you exhale, just let go of what no longer serves you. Just let it kind of exit out through the fingertips, through the bottoms of the feet. Again, breathe in that healing sunshine. Exhaling, let go of what no longer serves you today. Good. From here, I invite you to kind of come back into the now, back into the present moment. So we're kind of scoot back here in our chair. Let's scoot forward just a little bit and have the knees be a little bit wide, hands on the legs. Let's do some wide upper body circles. Just bring a little bit of movement back into the body. Take your time. Some folks will go on like take a nap right here, or they won't come back into the now. That's okay too. So again, that non-sleep, deep rest meditation. Dr. Andrew Huberman kind of came up with that. It's just a quick little reset meditation you can do. And then let's reverse, go the other way. Here we go. Notice what you notice. Then from here, let's come to the center. Very nice. You can either place the hands together or hands stacked as we do our gratitude practice. Place it here at our heart center. And I invite you to bring to your awareness maybe something that you're grateful for, or maybe an idea of gratitude. And think about that. Clasp it, grasp it. Let's place it into our heart center. And just for y'all showing up today, let's drop our chins towards our heart center in gratitude of showing up. And again, think about that, what you are grateful for, or that idea of gratitude today. Just pause here for a moment. Notice your heart rate also. And you may keep your chin towards your chest, or you can bring your chin back to its normal position, eyes opened or closed, as I say our traditional sayings to end our class today. So the light in me honors and respects the light in you. So let's take the peace, the strength, and the understanding, that little attitude of gratitude, and let's pass it on. Namaste, which means the bright light in me honors and respects the bright light in you. This concludes our practice of chair yoga for fall prevention. I will now stop the recording.
Thank you.